Gents, welcome. We've just got some technical issues with Nick. We'll get him up in a moment. But today, Labor's environmental wing has announced it's pushing the Prime Minister to adopt a 70% emissions reduction target for 2035, and they want those nature-positive laws passed by the end of the year. Now, we should have had these 2035 targets in February, Gerard. They should have been part of the campaign debate, but they're going to push on hard here now.
They will, Peter, and I think it's really important that your viewers realise what this will entail. And our modelling suggests that this will increase power prices by at least another 60% in real terms over the next 10 years. So you're not going to see any energy bill relief anytime soon. But it's also important to point out that decarbonising our energy grid, that's only 30% of our emissions across our country. You also have to look at agriculture, you have to look at our fuel, you have to look at our manufacturing, our primary and secondary industries. The Net Zero Steering Group estimates this could cost up to $7 trillion to try and hit this target. It is unachievable, it is astronomically expensive, and the real question is how much pain is Labor and the Greens willing to put us through until finally enough is enough and voters finally take back their country and say we just aren't going to take it anymore. We can't take the lies and we need a reliable, dispatchable and cheaper system for the country.
Of course, to do that, Nick, the Liberals have got to keep nuclear on the table. And there's a push from some moderates, not all, some moderates, to say that nuclear caused them to lose the election and nuclear's got to go.
Oh, it's an untenable suggestion that we should remove this. I think when the dust settles and we look at Peter Dutton's legacy, and he undoubtedly leaves a legacy to the Liberal Party, one of the big things he did was to break the nuclear taboo. We have to stick with it now. We've done a lot of work on it. We can see how it worked for Australia. And to ditch it now when during the election campaign, hardly reported here because we were focused on domestic issues, China authorised the building of 10 new nuclear power stations. They have a massive building program in place. Now, you've got to listen to a country like China, which is serious about energy, and see what they're doing. Plus, of course, the other thing that happened was with Spain and Portugal blacked out. I think anybody who's arguing, Peter, that we should get rid of nuclear should come up with the alternative, because I can see only one alternative, and that's coal. And if they don't want to go down the coal route, then nuclear is the only way to power Australia.
And of course, the Chinese need nuclear, Nick, because they've got to build all the wind farms and the solar panels to ship our way, keep their industries growing, improve their budget bottom line and send us out the back door. Of course, if nuclear is dropped from the coalition's agenda, I think the coalition itself is at risk here, Gerard. I don't think the Nats would take that lying down at all.
Well, the Nats have already made it quite clear that they want to back this in. It was, in lots of ways, the National Party-led policy in the first place, and regional Australia overwhelmingly voted for nuclear energy in this country. It's because it's their farmland, it's their national parks, it's their mountain ranges that are being destroyed by these industrial infrastructure and these industrial installations. To put it in perspective, to power 100,000 homes, you need over 3,000 AFL fields worth of solar panels. And this is assuming that the sun is shining. These aren't going into Bennelong, these aren't going into Wentworth, these aren't going into Griffiths, these are going into country people's backyards. And this is why they want an actually realistic and reliable and achievable energy solution to power the country for the next 100 years.
Nick, all of these calls today and the leaking of pollster information, they were warned, supposedly, the party strategists. Yes, I think the freshwater strategy mob have got to go. I don't think they're up to it in terms of polling. But I tell you what, if you have to be told what you stand for, what your policies should be from a pollster, you might as well pack up and go home.
I think that's right, Peter. And look, I don't want to comment in too much detail on the campaign. I wasn't part of it. I wasn't in the room. And I know, as you know, it's a tremendously high-pressure job. But the point is this, if they were relying so much on polling, and you get the sense, don't you, that Peter Dutton was pulling his punches because they thought they wanted to win over this seat and they needed women voters and they were careful about that one. That is not the way to run a campaign. The only way to run a campaign from opposition is, I think, as you pointed out, is to come out like Tony Abbott did as a whirling dervish, just going, and just not stopping, or Scott Morrison did in 2019. Those are the proven ways to win from opposition. Being cautious, being poll-driven, being focus group-driven, That does not work, and I hope we never try it again.
And we saw it there. That's how Tim Wilson told me tonight he won back a seat from the Teals. Gents, I'll leave it there. Thank you.